Is this the Fouke Monster, or is it better known as the Boggy Creek Monster? Is it real? Are the stories about it true? Watch this video as we research all the facts, find out what the people who claim to have encounters with it have said. Find out what the experts say. Also find out about new evidence that may shine new light on it. Fouke, Arkansas, located 11 miles southeast of Texarkana, with a population of 859, it's no different than any other friendly southern town. Except it's known for being the home of a Bigfoot-like creature, known as the Fouke Monster. The most famous account of the Fouke Monster, that made headlines, was in May of 1971, when it was reported to have attacked the home of Bobby and Elizabeth Ford. But encounters with the monster have been going on for over 100 years. There have been over 100 reported accounts. The first known was in 1908. A Fouke resident named Willie Smith, who claimed his sister saw the creature when she was 10 years old, at the south end of Mercer Bayou. The first written account was in 1910, when the Daily Arkansas Gazette wrote an article, and stated a strange beast supposedly was loose in the area near Spring Lake Park in Texarkana, which is approximately 20 miles north of Fouke. Some more notable accounts include: in 1943, a serviceman saw what he described as a wild man run across the road while driving a military munitions truck through Fouke. 1954, a woman and her 2 children, living in an isolated farmhouse about 2 miles from town, claimed to have seen a large, hairy creature in their field. 1955, a man sees a large, hairy ape-like creature near his house on Boggy Creek. He shot at it 15 times with a rifle, he did not know if he had or not. 1955, an experienced hunter and trapper sees a large gorilla-like creature while fishing in a river. It appeared to be washing its hands, then it walked off on 2 legs into the trees. 1964, a teenage girl sees a tall, hairy, 2-legged creature lurking in the yard of her rural home one evening. 1965, a teenage boy sees the alleged monster in the woods while deer hunting. He fired his gun at the creature before running away. 1965, a local teenage boy encounters a hairy man, or ape-like beast near a lake on his family's property. He described it as 7 foot tall, with reddish-brown hair, about 4 inches long all over its body. It stood upright like a man, but had extra long arms. As the thing approached, he fired at it with his shotgun 3 times, and then fled. 1967, while driving late one night, a teenager, who later became a Grammy Award-winning musician, and his cousin, see a hair-covered, bipedal creature running along Highway 71. They were residents of Texarkana and had never heard of the Fouke Monster or Bigfoot. The teenager didn't realize what he'd seen until years later, when he saw the movie, The Legend of Boggy Creek. 1968, a woman sees an upright, ape-like creature twice in the early morning hours. It was first seen eating scraps from a hog pen, and later seen licking from a dog's bowl. She described it as having hair all over its body with a flat brown nose, and canine teeth like a dog or baboon. 1971, a trail of 3-toed tracks are discovered in Willie Smith's soybean field. The trackway appeared to have been made by a bipedal creature walking upright. 1982, a teenage boy sees a tall, man-like creature with scraggly fur and long arms walking on 2 legs near the family's fishing pond. 1984, a local hunter was walking into the Sulphur River Wildlife Management Area when a horse and 4 cows came running up a hill towards him. The man followed in the direction they were fleeing, and when he reached a swampy area, he could see a large creature at least 7 feet tall, with long dark brown hair all over its body. It was standing on 2 legs, thigh deep in the swamp some distance away. 1986, a local landowner was driving a representative from Miller Brewing Company to a wheat field located on his property. Upon reaching the back gate, the landowner stopped the truck and got out to unlock it. At that point he noticed a tall, hair-covered figure walking toward them, approximately 80 to 100 yards away. When the creature saw the men, it immediately turned and headed toward the trees near Boggy Creek. 1992, 6 people, 5 young men in a car, and 1 man in a semi-truck, traveling on FM 134 around 11 p.m. They stopped their vehicles to watch a large, hairy animal walk upright across the road. The creature was estimated to be 7 feet tall, with a bulky frame covered in thick bushy hair. It was clearly silhouetted in the headlights as it crossed the pavement, and walked into a field where it disappeared into the darkness. All 6 witnesses got out of the vehicles, and discussed the amazing sighting before leaving the scene. 1993, 5 people, 2 men in a truck, a couple in a car, and a man in a semi-truck, traveling on Highway 71, at approximately 2 a.m. stopped their vehicles to observe a large, hairy animal standing on the side of the road. The creature stood approximately 100 yards from the witnesses, and was described as being ape-like, yet it moved on 2 legs like a man. After observing the growing crowd of people for a few moments, it turned and ran into the woods, running fast on 2 legs. The witnesses discussed the sighting before leaving the scene. 2003, 2 young girls encounter a hairy monster while riding bikes in the evening hours. When they returned home and told their mother, she contacted the authorities. 2011, a nearby resident sees a large, bipedal creature with dark fur standing next to a hay bale as she drove down a county road late one evening. As the car approached, the creature suddenly darted across the road running very fast on 2 legs. The creature came within 3 to 4 feet of the car, causing the driver to hit the brakes, before it disappeared into the brush on the other side of the road. 2018, 2 female witnesses were driving north on rural Highway 71 in the early evening when they saw a large, upright figure run across the road in approximately 4 strides. As it passed by in their car, they could see it running down the middle of a road which runs perpendicular to the highway. They quickly turned around, but by the time they got back to the side road, the figure was already out of sight. Whatever it was moving quickly and with great agility. Considered to be the definitive encounter with the creature. Bobby and Elizabeth Ford had recently moved to a wooded area on the outskirts of Fouke. They believed the creature had been in the area of their house for about a week. Several hunters in the area claimed they had seen a strange man, or creature-like man while hunting near the house. Elizabeth also one night heard footsteps on the porch. At first it was thought to be a bear. But that all changed on the night of May 1, 1971. Elizabeth, who had fallen asleep on the couch, was startled when a large hairy hand with claws reached through the screen window, and grabbed at her. She said it was large and over 7 feet tall, and had red eyes. Bobby was just returning from a hunting trip with his brother Don, and they chased it off the porch. At this point Bobby Ford had enough. Bobby, along with his brother, and another man, Charles Taylor, decided to track the creature down. While they were tracking it down they had several encounters with it. The creature threw several rocks and sticks at the group. While shining his flashlight into the woods, Ford saw the creature. The creature took off running, and the group chased after it. When the monster ran through a clearing, they got a good look at it, and the sight of it sent chills through them. They said it was 7 feet tall, and weighed at least 300 pounds. Bobby Ford aimed his shotgun at it, and squeezed off several rounds. One of the shots found its mark. The creature slumped over, and fell down. They walked through the clearing to get a look at the downed beast. At that moment the group heard screams coming from the house. They immediately turned around and headed for the house. As they got closer the screams became louder. When they got to the back of the house, they could hear noises coming from the front of the building. Elizabeth and Bobby's sister-in-law, Patricia Ford, had barricaded themselves inside. Running around to the front, the men spotted the creature again. It was on the front porch. The monster quickly took off. Bobby again aimed at it, and fires off another round. He stated that he did not know whether he hit it or not. Bobby also claimed he was attacked by the creature about this time. He said he was grabbed and pulled to the ground. After a brief struggle, he escaped from the attack. He was later treated at St. Michael's Hospital in Texarkana for scratches and shock. The police were called, they scanned the area, but there were no signs of the creature. What they did find were footprints, scratch marks on the house, as well as a damaged window and damage to the siding. The Fords soon afterwards moved out of the house. The story of their encounter made the newspapers and TV news across the country. During the following months, sightings continued to be reported by local residents and tourists, including a sighting by Wilma Woods and her husband, as well as by Mrs. Arcegis, who reported seeing an ape-like creature crossing Highway 71. The sightings of the Fouke Monster attracted interest from both tourists and hunters. A $1,000 reward was offered on the creature. The money was put up by Little Rock radio station KAAY. Several attempts were made to track the creature, including teams using scent dogs, but they were unable to locate it. So many hunters entered the woods to find it, that Miller County Sheriff Leslie Greer was forced to put a temporary no-guns policy in place in order to preserve public safety. The story of the Fouke Monster became so popular that in 1972, the story of Bobby Ford's encounter was turned into a docudrama horror movie, called The Legend of Boggy Creek. The film was written by Earl Smith and directed by Charles B. Pierce. Pierce would later be known for such films as The Town That Dreaded Sundown, Winter Hawk, and Sudden Impact starring Clint Eastwood. The movie was a hit, costing only $160,000 to make. It grossed more than $25 million at the box office. Adjusted for inflation, that would be approximately $150 million by today's standards. Several other films were made. In 1977, Return to Boggy Creek, starring actress Dawn Wells of Gilligan's Island's fame. In 1988, Boggy Creek 2, The Legend Continues. A fictionalized story. Charles B. Pierce wrote, directed, and played the role of Brian Lockhart, a University of Arkansas professor, who leads a group of students into the swamps around Fouke. Then in 2010, Boggy Creek, The Legend Is True was made. Originally planned as a remake of Charles Pierce's original 1972 film, but was later changed to be an unrelated story. 2011, The Legacy of Boggy Creek. The movie chronicles the events that began after the original attacks in Fouke. The tourists and events. The Fouke Monster Festival is an annual event held in Fouke, Arkansas. The purpose of the event is to bring together the local community, and to share information about the creature. The festival has guided bus tours, food, vendors, and presentations by some of the top Bigfoot researchers in their field. All the proceeds from the festival go to benefit the Fouke School District. If you would like to attend, the next festival will be held on June 18, 2022. The Monster Mart. A family-run store located on Highway 71, just 15 miles southeast of Texarkana. They offer a variety of products including groceries, snacks, fuel, and more. The store features a display of historic Fouke Monster items. The city of Fouke police cars even reflect the town's history with the creature. Recent reports and new evidence. 2021, a witness reports seeing a hairy ape-like creature run across a county road during daylight hours. He described it as looking like an orangutan, with reddish hair. Also in 2021, a few days after the witness saw a red-colored animal, a researcher saw what appears to him to be a large, red animal move through the woods near Mercer Bayou during daylight hours. Several recent searches and investigations into the Fouke Monster have been conducted by experts. One went as far as spraying a reagent chemical in the known area of the creature, looking for DNA. Also, station cameras were used to take photos, as well as night searches using night vision equipment. So far, no conclusive evidence was found. So what do you think of the stories of the Fouke Monster? Do you believe in the Boggy Creek legend? Let us know in the comments below. As always, please like and subscribe.